some of us as fathers, we've been foul. Well, notice how I get quiet. I know y'all want me to just deal with the good aspect of it. I got to deal with the truth of it. And the truth has two sides. Some of us have been foul. Some of us have not been right. Some of us have not been there. Y'all, it's right there in the Bible. Because what does Paul say? When Paul says to the children, honor your fathers and mothers, and then he says, and you fathers in verse number 4, here's what he says, do not provoke your children to wrath or anger. In other words, he's saying one of the great sources of the anger of our children is the Father. And let me tell you what's going to anger them more than anything. You not being there. You not being a source and a resource for them. Amen. And then what's even worse than that, sometimes you being there but still not there. Y'all hear what I'm saying? And he says, this causes angry children. And some of y'all don't get it. I know y'all don't get it. But I tell you what, I got a whole lot of educators, teachers, and principals that can wave their hand and say, them children we teach are angry. They are mad at the world. And you know why they mad at the world? Because sometimes it's no daddy at the house. God has designed it for mama and daddy to be together in this thing. And listen, it's one thing when mama not there, it's a whole other thing when daddy ain't there. Now, I tell you what, I ain't making that up. I'm not being sexist. Can I show it to you? In Exodus chapter 20, he says, honor who? Father and mother. Now, watch this. It's not arbitrary. It's not thrown in that the fathers mentioned first. God mentions, he doesn't say honor mothers, then fathers. He says honor fathers, then mothers. There is a first and second and third to this thing. Why does he put the Father first? Because you know what, y'all? God identifies himself as a father. When Jesus taught us to pray, he didn't say pray our mother. He said pray our Father. Father is a source, should be a provider, should be a protector. Y'all getting this? Should be an encourager. A father is supposed to be a teacher, a model, if you will. And so he puts the Father first. Honor your father. Paul does the same thing. When Paul finishes, notice in verse number 4, he says, and you fathers. He could have said, and you parents, don't provoke your children to wrath. And I know we can read it that way. It goes that way. It speaks to both. But particularly, it is translated, and you fathers, do not provoke your children to anger or to wrath. In other words, y'all check the records, check the stats. Most of these jokers in prison, go back to where they came from. You will discover daddy ain't